Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon. Welcome to another session of our fall webinar series. Today, we are talking about best practices for managing Prisma access. And the first, we'll talk about mobile user regional redundancy. Mobile user regional redundancy, this feature provides redundant network paths between the mobile user's data plane and the service connection in different compute locations. Enabling redundancy provides the user more resilient access to resources behind the service connection in a data center or HQ locations. Because a service connection is required for mobile users to access resources from remote networks, users also have more resiliency in accessing resources in remote network locations. So before you enable a mobile user redundancy in your Prisma Access deployment, make sure that you have at least two service connections in different Prisma Access locations that map to unique compute locations. We recommend you to have multiple service connections to ensure that there are alternate paths to the data center if the connectivity through one Prisma Access location fails. Before you enable, make sure that you have enabled routing, which is required as asymmetric routing with load sharing for this redundancy feature. So log into your panorama. If you go to the service setup in the advanced tab, you will find there for the drop-down menu as a routing preference. Make sure that you have selected asymmetric routing with load share across service connections in your backbone routing options to choose the best alternate route in case of connectivity failure. Once you have selected your routing preferences, you can log into your mobile users configuration page in your panorama, and there you can find the enable network redundancy. Make sure that you have checked this box. If you have already onboarded your users and you have not enabled, you can just simply log in into your panoramas, add it to your routing preferences, and go to the mobile users configuration page, and you can edit this configuration, check this box, click OK, commit, and push your configuration to the Prisma Access. And if you're in the process of onboarding your mobile users, you can enable this as well. Next, we're talking about manage GP app upgrade. So the Prisma Access hosts GP app versions that macOS and Windows users in your organizations can download from Prisma Access portal. So the Prisma Access offers several versions of GP app, and you can choose to make one of those versions the active version. And you can also manage mobile users' access to the GP app or perform the stage upgrade. So you can select either one version as active versions, or you can select a number of users to upgrade to a particular versions, and then later on you can roll out that particular version to the whole organization. And you can also manage access of your users, how they can upgrade the GP app. And I will talk about each one of them in detail. The first one is replacing the current active versions. While Prisma Access hosts several app versions, GP app versions, only one of the hosted versions is active. So when the mobile users log into the Prisma Access portal, the active version is one that is available for the mobile users to download and install on their Windows, Mac OS devices. So you can log into your Panorama, go to the cloud service section in the configuration and service setup. You will find GP app version or Global Protect app activation. From the activate new app version, from the drop down, you will see that it will show you at one of the activated version, and it also show you some of your data plane version also. If you are on a end of life version, you can also see here a notification which notifies you and requests that you activate a supported version. And you can select multiple app versions in multi-tenant deployment as well. And this GP app version setting you apply, this is per tenant. It's not a global setting. So you can control the app versions on per tenant basis. You can replace the current active version with another hosted version here by selecting the version. For example, if it's 5.0.3 is activated, you can select 5.1.5, and that will be an activated version. Next, we're talking about the stage updates for the GP app on Prisma Access. So if you manage a large organization, you might want to update mobile users to the latest version of the GP app in stages. For example, you could assign a smaller group to update their GP app before rolling out the update to everybody in your organization. So in order to do that, there's a particular flow to do that. Make sure that first of all, you have particular set of user group or users. So if you have not created a user group whom you want to first roll out this new app version, first create a user group for the first group, and make sure that user ID mapped to the user group, and you can log into your Panorama again and device local users, and you can find all the user group information there. Once you have created the user group, you can log into your Panorama, make sure that you have selected the mobile users template, log in and go to the portal, Global Protect portal, and you can see there the default configuration options. You can either clone this or create a new one, but if you clone this and then later on you can add it, that the given name is these are the first number of group of users who will be upgrading the new app version. And then and you can add all this configuration here, a new agent configuration for the first upgrade. You can also add new configuration, but cloning the existing configuration is easy and there is an easiest way to do. Or you can give any of the name, whatever you want. Then go to the config selection criteria. From here, you can select the user or user group, what you have created already, or if you have existing already. Then go to the app tab here and change the allow user to upgrade the GP app to either allow with a prompt or allow transparently. Allow with a prompt users when the new version is activated and allows them to upgrade their software when it is convenient, and allow the transparently, it automatically upgrades the app whenever the new version is available. And then once you have done with all this configuration, make sure that the new agent configuration, you can move this up, select move it up. So when an app connects with the portal and it compares with the source information, the packet against the agent configuration you have defined, as with the security rule evaluation, The portal looks for a match starting from the top of the list. When it finds a match, it delivers the corresponding configuration to the app. The next, we are talking about how the manage users access to the GP app upgrade. You may have different GP agents based on the user group, and each set of users have their, as I talked about in the previous slides, you are giving access to the users how they can upgrade, allow upgrade with a prompt, transparently, or how. So if you want to add all those configurations, make sure that you are in your panorama. So you have selected the right template, mobile user template in the portal, and you will see all this configuration here. You can select any of the agent configuration from here, and then go to the app tab where you will find all these from the drop-down menu, all these options, allow with the prompt, disallow, allow manually, transparently, and internal. Allow with prompt, which is a default option, prompt the users when a new version is activated and allow users to upgrade their software whenever it's convenient. Disallow, it prevents the user from upgrading the app version. Allow manually means it allows the users to manually check and initiate the upgrade by selecting the check version in the GP app. Allow transparently will upgrade the app whenever the new version becomes available on the portal. And internal means that it will also automatically upgrade the app software or app version whenever a new version is become available on the portal, but it will wait until the endpoint is connected internally to the corporate network. This prevents the delays caused by upgrades over the low bandwidth connection. Next, we're talking about allow listing Prisma access IP addresses. Prisma Access dynamically assigns IP addresses to the Prisma Access nodes as they are provisioned, service infrastructure subnet, public IP addresses. So you may need to keep an updated list of all of these IP addresses so that you can keep the list of your radius authentication server access, SaaS applications, uh, providers, whitelisting and everything. So Prisma Access provides a mechanism through which you can retrieve these IP addresses, whatever you use, your use case may be either it's a SaaS application or for your authentication application. So I will talk about those, how you can retrieve the IP addresses. You can use API script, run API script and retrieve all these IP addresses. And for this, you need to generate an API key, or you can log into your Panorama, and through the Panorama service setup page, you can generate an API key. Using this API key, you can use the curl command with the different either for portal, gateway, service connection, whatever your deployment type is, and you can retrieve all of those IP addresses. You can find all these details and a sample script and text file details in our admin guide. You can also get notification of whenever the change of IP addresses happens. So to be notified for the public IP address change for the mobile users, you have to specify URL at which you can be alerted for a change. So Prisma Access uses an HTTP OS post request to send these notifications. And this post request includes notification data in JSON format. So when you receive a notification, you must follow a two-step process. Again, you have to retrieve those IP addresses. So you can either manually or programmatically run these commands, the script, and retrieve those IP addresses. And Prisma Access will send this notification a few seconds before the new IP address becomes active. We recommend that you should use an automation or automated scripts to both retrieve and add the new IP address in your allow list in your network. Prisma Access also provides an enhancements to the API which you can use to retrieve IP addresses that allows you to reserve the gateway portal. So you can pre-allocate the IP addresses. It allows list for your SaaS application, which can be updated in advance before they go live. You can use an API call to retrieve those pre-allocated new mobile users gateway IPs. And these IP addresses and subnets are valid for 90 days after you retrieve them and expire after the validity period if you don't use them. And if you are using Cortex XR with the integration of Prisma Access and Cortex XR, Cortex XR listens to the auto scaling and the new provisioning events in Prisma Access. It immediately picks up the new list of Prisma Access egress IPs automatically and update the security groups in your AWS or GCP or any cloud deployment. And this will help you for your business continuity with no loss or interruption for the users who need to access public cloud workloads or any SaaS application. Next, we're talking about the IP address pool for the mobile users. So if you are a new customer or you are existing customer for using Prisma Access, make sure that you have specified an IP address pool that allows enough coverage for your mobile users in your organization. It is important to remember that each unique user can use multiple devices to connect to Prisma Access at the same time. And each connected device requires a unique IP address from the pool. And the addresses in this pool must not overlap the addresses pools you use internally or with the IP subnets you assign for your service infrastructure. So the minimum requirement is it should be a pool of IPs of /23, which should be either worldwide or regional. But we recommend that the number of IP address in the pool should be 2 times or 3 times the number of mobile user devices that will connect. And if your organization has a BYOD policy or bring your own device, and a single user has a multiple user accounts, make sure that you are taking all these extra devices and accounts into the consideration when you are planning for IP pool allocation. You can always monitor the IP pool utilization or whether it's reaching the maximum capacity for your mobile users in Prisma Access Insights. This widget in Prisma Access Insights mobile user dashboard allows you to monitor IP pool utilization. It's a real-time bar graph which shows IP pool utilization by different IP pool across different theaters based on the number of connected users. And the IP pool percentage in the bar graph is a number of pool blocks utilized out of all of your IP pool block. And you can take proactive actions by adding subnets when you see an IP pool bar is approaching to maximum capacity for any region. Next, we're talking about split tunneling. This feature gives you ability to split and tunnel the applications or the traffic. You can tunnel enterprise SaaS and public cloud applications for comprehensive SaaS visibility and control to avoid risk associated with shadow IT environment. You can also use this to send less latency sensitive traffic such as VoIP outside of a VPN tunnel where all the other traffic goes through the VPN for inspection and policy enforcement. You can exclude any video streaming traffic from the VPN tunnel, such as YouTube, Netflix, as they consume large amount of bandwidth. By excluding low risk video streaming traffic from the VPN tunnel, you can decrease the bandwidth consumption on the gateway. Uh, GP or Global Protect allows to split tunnel applications traffic in certain ways. You can either split tunnel specific applications with a list of domain and ports, or a list of you can do with the video applications. You can decrypt, identify the file type using the content, and then you can split the traffic. And you can do all these configurations under the gateway configurations. Deploy user ID. So user identification or user ID is Palo Alto Network's next-gen firewall feature that seamlessly integrates with a range of enterprise directory and terminal service to tie application activity and policies. So user IDs has a great importance in Prisma Access as well, because there are only two zones, and Prisma Access is such a robust mobile user platform. User ID has a great use. So in addition to the standard benefits of user ID with logging, reporting, and threat hunting, user ID redistribution also can facilitate mobile user hip check redistribution. Prisma Access requires that you configure IP address to username mapping to consistently enforce user-based policies for the mobile users and users at remote network locations. In addition, if you want to enforce policy based on the group memberships, you need to configure username to user group mapping as well. You can configure your deployment to allow Panorama to get the list of users retrieved from group mappings, which allows you to easily select these groups. So the increasingly dynamic nature of these users and application means that IP addresses alone have become less effective as a mechanism for the monitoring and controlling user activity. User ID technology identifies the user on the network, and the IP address of the computer the users log into. The ultimate purpose of the user ID is to give you the ability to write policy rules, display logs, and display reports that contains username instead of only IP addresses. For example, an unknown user can be treated differently from known users to accommodate network guests. The user ID is used in Prisma Access to replicate learned user ID information within a Prisma Access to or from on-premises devices. So it enables you to share user ID information in whatever way makes sense for you or your security requirements. And the direction of the user ID redistribution is very important. In case of user ID distribution going through security devices. So Prisma Access user distribution, there are certain options available, which is the cloud-based distribution, automatically redistribute distribution happen within a Prisma Access, service connection or corporate access node, user ID distribution, redistribution of user ID from Prisma Access to an on-premises, and from an on-premises to the Prisma Access. In one of the previous sessions of our webinar on best practices, I talk about each of these use case from Prisma Access to on-premises and from on-premises to Prisma Access. So if you're not able to attend our few sessions, recordings are available on our live community, and please feel free to watch. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to us. Next topic, we have the clientless VPN. Clientless VPN provides a secure remote access to the common enterprise web applications that use the HTML, HTML5, and JavaScript and others. Users have the advantage of secure access from SSL-enabled web browser without installing Global Protect client. The deployment of clientless VPN is useful when you need to enable the partner or the contractor to access certain applications and to safely enable unmanaged assets, which includes the personal devices. The clientless VPN is different than secure web gateway. The cloud secure web gateway is scalable and can function with all HTTP and HTTPS applications, and that requires SAML authentication as well, whereas the clientless VPN solution, this is limited to the listed protocol types, but you can use different authentication types, and this is very flexible to use certain authentication types. So if you want to configure the clientless VPN, you can log in into your Panorama under the Global Protect. You can see the clientless VPN, add the multiple apps or applications, whatever you want. Make sure that you have selected the appropriate template. Nobody uses template here. And then you can update the portal with the clientless configurations, users or user group, which are the part of this. You want to give them access to the clientless VPN, any contractor or partners. Now let's talk about some of those troubleshooting Prisma Access common scenarios and issues. Here I will be talking about some of the errors or issues which are related to the licensing activation, commit errors, IPsec connectivity, traffic flows, availability of cloud services, and also some of the self-help resources also. So the common issues for the licensing activations, if you're a new user to the Prisma Access, you're in deployment or planning to deploy, there may or may not be some common issues you can see, which includes errors while you're generating the OTP, failed to verify account, Panorama is not able to connect to the Prisma Access, plugin is not responding, SSL certificate errors. So if you have encountered any of such errors or problems between Panorama and Prisma Access, first of all, make sure that all the ports and the URLs which are mentioned here, which is port 4444 and all the APIs, these are on your allow list on any of your local or on-premises device that may be blocking all of these connection requests. So first of all, make sure that these are on in the allow list. And if you verify that the URLs and the ports, they are not being blocked, you can always reset your Prisma Access licenses, do an SSH connection to your Panorama, and through the CLI, you can run these commands, Prisma Access related licenses, delete licenses, and then refetch all of your licenses and OTP, which may help you to resolve your issue. And if you still face any issue in terms of your connectivity with the Panorama and Prisma Access and licensing, you can always open up a tag case. Commit errors. To determine if there are errors with your commit processes, you can always navigate to the status page Hover your cursor, your mouse over the errors, and which will reveal you additional details. For example, in this case here, 3 remote networks are configured, which are operational. 2 of them are operational, and one of it is reporting an error. Therefore, additional investigation must be performed. So what exactly the error or issue is. So I can select appropriate status from the monitor, Panorama Cloud Service Status Monitor. And then you can see and determine what is the underlying issue for the reported errors. As shown here, one error is under the remote networks. You can click on the error, which will display some additional details. For example, this IP sector is down, tunnel monitoring status off. And you can get all these details here. Next is the system logs for the troubleshooting. System logs provides a valuable information about the overall health of your Prisma Access deployment. Normal updates are logged with an information severity. There may be more serious issues are logged with the severity level of high or critical. You can filter, use the filter option here, and narrow down the scope of your logs to help you to pinpoint the specific issues you might are encountering. There are some common IPsec configuration issues also. So Prisma Access has some caveats. Prisma Access does not support BGP pairing with the IP address 169.254.0.0/16. Any IP address space, and it does not support also GRE over IPsec, GRE without IPsec, L2TP, and the routing protocols OSPF, RIP, NHRP, or EIGRP. If you have any IPsec related issue and you're troubleshooting, look for specific VPN entries in the system log or the traffic log. Those logs can help you to determine whether you are having issues with a phase 1 or phase 2 negotiation. To troubleshoot traffic flow issues, always review the traffic logs. And these traffic logs will help you to make determination that either traffic is getting Prisma access. If you do not see the entries in the traffic log, verify routing and connectivity from the host. Verify that you have logging enabled on default interzone and intrazone rules. Security policy rule is denying the session. Verify security policy rule logic. Review traffic logs to verify that zones are correct. Verify that zone security or security zones are properly mapped to the trust and untrust Prisma access zones. And you can build a filter to narrow the scope of your logs. GP logs help you to monitor and troubleshoot the issues which are with your GP deployment. These logs display the information that shows what authentication method you're using, why it's failing, all the information you can see here. The ACC widget in the panorama displays the graphical view of users' activity in your Global Protect deployment or the GP activity tab. You can see the charts related to the successful GP connection activity, unsuccessful GP connectivity, GP connection activity, GP deployment activity, and GP activity charts and graphs. These are also interactive and support similar drill down functionality to the charts and graphs which are available. And here are some of the self-help tools and resources also available. Global Protect has in-app self-help for the remote users, through which they can report the connection issues, access issues, and the performance issues. So when an issue occurs, the GP app UI will provide user-friendly feedback to enable self-help and resolution by the user and reduce the need to call IT help desk whenever it's possible. A remote user can simply go to the GP app, uh, click on the report an issue, and it will just generate the troubleshooting report, and it will send to the IT admin to enable the quick resolution for this issue. It has the built-in ability to diagnose connections, performance, and application issues. If by reporting an issue, the user can just simply click on the run diagnostics. It will take all the diagnostics log and run and send to the IT admin, which will help to resolve the issue quickly. And the IT admin can look all these logs in the Explorer app in the hub. They can just simply log into the hub, and from there they can see all these logs. Another self-help tool we have is Autonomous DAM. Autonomous DAM, or the Digital Experience Management, is a service that provides native end-to-end visibility and insights for all users' traffic in your SASE environment. ADAM functionality is natively integrated into the GP app and Prisma Access, therefore, does not require you to deploy any additional software or any additional application. ADAM service enables synthetic tests for applications to specify from the endpoint or from the different vantage point in the Prisma Access. And it provides you the visibility into any deviations or events that degrades the user experience across each segment between the end users, application, whether it is endpoint, Wi-Fi, LAN router, ISP, Prisma Access. It's an add-on for Prisma Access. So if you're using it, that's very helpful. We have done a couple of webinars on ADAM. If you're not able to attend, our recordings are always available on our live community page. Please feel free to check them out. Next is ADAM Self-Serve. This is a new feature we released very recently. So ADAM Self-Serve empowers the end users to resolve the application experience issues that they fall into their purview without consulting the IT by displaying notifications on their endpoints with suggested remediations. ADAM Self-Serve reduces the ticket load and improves the experience of end users by helping them quickly to resolve their issues, which are like CPU and memory issues, which are impacting the application experience, Wi-Fi issues, internet issues. So we have already done a webinar on ADAM Self-Serve in detail. So recordings available on a live community. If you are not able to attend, please, I would highly encourage you to watch this recording. It's really a game-changing feature. And if you have any problem in accessing any website, so some websites such as StubHub, Ticketmaster, Dollar Tree, they block traffic from a cloud IP address range. So when the users who are secured by Prisma Access, they attempt to access such websites, they get denied error or access denied message. So you can report this problem. Go to this URL, report site.gpc cloud service. And on this, you can enter the URL which you're having problem. And from a web browser, and you can provide this URL here, which is inaccessible. It will take 24 to 48 hours. And you can check the status also. If after 48 hours of window, you can come back again on this website, put your URL, which was not accessible, and you can check the status also. So if after the 48 hours, website continues to be blocked and you have retried multiple times, verify your security policy rules, you're allowed, there is nothing block a specific website in the category. So once you confirm that you have acceptable user policy allows the requested web content, you can open up a support case with our technical support assistance center or tag team with the impacted traffic flow, specifying the steps you have taken or performed, and still you're not able to access that particular website. Prisma Access Insights is a tool which allows for visualization and enhanced logging. It has a multiple dashboards which focus views for your different deployments, alerts, and the Prisma Access infrastructure. There are multiple dashboards, mobile users, service connection, remote networks, and this continuously monitor your Prisma Access environment when an event or the status requires your attention. It sends you an alert notification, which helps to take proactive action or gain visibility into the remediation. As I mentioned, Insights enables you to set up alert notifications so that you can receive alerts directly in your email inbox. You can add an email address in the settings page to receive alert notifications. And I highly encourage you, please, from in your organization, add your multiple notification profiles there so that you can receive all the proactive notifications, upgrade notification, any end of life software, plugin upgrade notification, and all those. The user should be the member of CSP account. Uh, you can see the subscription table, which offers a view of all available profiles. You can create different profiles. And the notification types, you can see here with the email header, the priority alerts. These priority alerts will comprise of the alert ID, alert severity, and the code. And these alerts can be grouped under the alert ID to view the state of the alert. And these priority alerts are updated only when your alert severity increases. Once the issue is identified, you will get notified. You will get further update if there is any change happened there, and once this issue is resolved. So these are the priority alerts you will be getting notifications. And this is how this notification email will look like for all of your maintenance activities, Prisma Access upgrade, all this information you will be getting here. And availability of services. To get you updated about the availability of services, uh, you can retrieve all the status of Palo Alto Networks cloud service, including Prisma Access, Cortex Data Lake, and the historical records of all the uptime for each services by accessing the status page. You can also sign up for the email or text messages. These messages will include advanced notifications about our plan, infrastructure upgrades, real-time notifications, updates, and notification whenever Palo Alto Networks creates or updates or resolve the incident. And you can see about a 3.0 plugin enforcement. You have seen that message here, which is now have been enforced. This is a minimum plugin version requirement. If you have signed up, you may have received it. If not, I will highly encourage you to please subscribe to the status page so that you can receive all the updates and information. And with this, I'm the end of my presentation today.